Hey, welcome back to another lesson with Kal-El. Today we're going to be discussing about how to find an area of a rectangle. So right here I already drew out a rectangle for you guys, and as you can see I labeled down the rectangle, right? So when we're talking about the base or kind of the top of a rectangle, this is known as the length, and it's L-E-N-G-H-T, and then when we're talking about how wide something is or the width, we're talking about the left and right sides of the rectangle. Now, it doesn't have to be exactly these two sides. If you want, it could be this and this, or this and this, as long as it's length and width together. So here you have length. That means the opposite side of this line right here is going to be length as well. This one, I'm going to put the abbreviation for L. And since this side is width, that means the opposite side is also going to be width. I'm just going to put W here, in case you ever see the abbreviation instead of the actual whole word. Now, when you're solving for an area of a rectangle, what you're going to do is you're going to take the length and you're going to multiply it by the width. So another way you might see this equation, A stands for area. I'm going to draw a rectangle so I remember what I'm looking at. And it'll just be L times W. Now this in itself doesn't really mean much to you guys right now, so let's put some numbers to it. So let me go ahead and draw a rectangle. And let me assign some numbers to it. Let me just go ahead and put, let's see, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let me just go ahead and put 6 here. 4 here, since this is 4. So when I want to solve, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to plug and chug these numbers. So my first one is going to be length, so I'm going to put the length here. So my length, I'm looking at the base, could be the top, right? So this is going to be 6. I'm going to multiply. And then this is going to be my width, so I notice my width gives me a number of 4. So my equation is going to be area is equal to 6 times 4. Now, you can use whatever multiplication techniques you want to solve it, but I'm fairly familiar with my math facts. So 6 times 4 means I have 6 groups of 4, so that gives me a total of 24. Okay. And I don't have a label here. That's my fault because I didn't label my sides, but let's just say since these are centimeter squares, if we say these are centimeters, right? So this is centimeters, this is centimeters. So this would be a total of 24 centimeters square. And remember, SQ is the abbreviation for square. Okay, so let's go ahead and try one more. So my length, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So let's go ahead and put 7 on top. Let's go ahead and put 3 on this side. So once again, my equation is going to be length times width, right? So as I said earlier, the length could be the base or it could be the top of a rectangle. So here is my length. So my length is going to be 7 centimeters. My width is going to be the left and right sides of my rectangle. So here I have a width on the right side of 3. And of course, I'm multiplying these two together. So when I solve for this, it's going to give me a total of 21 centimeters square. Now, really quick, I want to talk about the properties of a rectangle really fast. So here I have a rectangle. And then let's just say this is, let's see, 8. So this is 9 centimeters. And this is 4 centimeters. Now remember on the properties of a rectangle that a rectangle actually has 2 sets of equal sides. So the top and bottom are going to be a set of equal sides. I'm going to do 2 marks, and because these have one single hash mark, that means they are the same length, right? And then the left and right are going to be the same. So I'm going to do double hash mark here, because that's just going to show me that these two are going to be same equal lengths. So that means if I have 9 on the base, that's also going to give me 9 centimeters on top. And if I have 4 centimeters on the left hand side, that means this side is going to be equal, right? So if this is 4, this side is going to be 4 as well. So just review, right? Whenever we're solving for an area of a rectangle, it's going to be length times width. Now, normally the length is just the bottom of a rectangle, and the top rectangle, the width is going to be the left and right part, and then you're just going to multiply those two numbers together. Okay, so let's talk about your problem for today. So you're going to be working on page 340 today, and I'm going to show you 2 problems. So this is still a rectangle, okay? And what they did is that they distributed a rectangle into 2 equal pieces. So the way you're going to solve this is first write an equation for each rectangle. Before you even want to do that, I'm going to want you to solve these rectangles, right? So what you do is you just take this 4, so this is a width, so let's say this is 4, right? Because this is going to be the same. And then here I have 3 plus 5, and I know that the sum of 3 plus 5 is going to give me 8. So because the total length from here to here is going to be 8, I know the bottom is going to be 8. So that's what I want to do. I want to label my length and width all around. So let's just talk about 4 times 3 first. So you're going to ignore this box, and all you're going to do is solve for the area of 4 times 3, right? So I know that 4 times 3 is going to give me 12. And now I'm going to do this box right here, which is going to just be 4 times 5, so 4 times 5 gives me 20. So now I have the area for these 2 boxes. So let me write a math equation. I want you guys to practice doing distributive property and just a regular number sentence for multiplication. So what I want to do is I want to do 4 times 3 first. I'm going to put these in parentheses just because I know I'm going to have 2 sets of equations to solve. So that 4 times 3, and I'm going to add it, right, here's the plus sign, to 4 times 5. And that's going to be the exact same as saying 4 times 8. So that's it. I'm not asking you to solve it. All I'm doing is for asking you to write the equation. Okay? So that's how you do one of them. And then on the bottom, it's going to give you an equation. Notice that's distributive property for this one, and then this is 3 times 8. So it's just asking you to draw a rectangle for each equation. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to draw 2 rectangles for these. So here's one, and here's another. Now the first rectangle I'm going to do, I'm going to do distributive property. So I'm going to just kind of split this in half. I notice that 3 is smaller than 5, so I'm just going to make one box a little bit smaller than the other. So this first number is going to be, I'm just going to say my width. So I'm going to put 3 here, and these top numbers are going to be my length, right? So I'm going to put a 3 and a 5 here. For this one, I have 3 times 8. Now, I remember that I've told you that this is going to be length times width. But because this is multiplication and we learned earlier about the community property, it's okay if we switch these two around and have the width come first and the length come second. It doesn't change the answer to the problem because it's the community property of multiplication, right? So I'm going to put a 3 here, and then I'm going to put an 8 on here. And that's all you really have to do for today's homework, right? So that concludes another lesson with Kal-El. Hope to see you for the next lesson.